Hi there, Yang here. Today I'm gonna start on showing you the end result of our development of the character creator. So we called it character creator instead of builder. Okay, so we, oh, this is the main project. So this will I'm still working on putting some icons and everything, but where is it? Here is it. So it's version 0.0.0.9 at the moment. I'm gonna load it. So it's a default project. I put some models in it. I'm preparing to do the testings. Hold on, I'm gonna put my mic a little bit closer. I'm not gonna go over the how we gonna do it, but I'm gonna go on this guy. So this is what I added. The rest is this also. You just added it to have an animal. Quickly give it I'll give it a blue color. So that is what we need. This is the red one. Is the one that is the character creator. Okay, double click. Then you see a master file. And you see the core structure. This is the main blueprint that contains everything. This is the master of the master. You don't need to be in here. Then the data tables. Here you need to be the first time, or maybe later on also, because I did not include any models. I did not include any example data tables. I can maybe provide them. I will see in the test version what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's just creating the data tables and a folder. Then yeah, the enums, you don't need to be in there. Then the function library. This is pretty interesting. I will show you in a second. And then the structures. So everything is nice categorized. Then okay, let's quickly take our core blueprint, the master of the master. Then I especially provide the test code. You see that is just for me. For the moment it's still in there. Then we have the overview, so the CC1 overview, that is the function library. So I created some predefined functions to call them, and these are get item, item name, and it checks your array at just the given index and return the value by index and the corrected index is bigger than the array length. And I created, so you have these, like in this instance is from the NMBP list, so it's a map. So you have a key and a value in this case. The key is the NMBP, the value is if it's on horse, not on horse. This is working, but the end result I need to tweak a little bit. But that is once we are testing. I'm not gonna modify the code anymore up till now. Then the Boolean, the class. So it returns the class. Yeah, then just the float, the integer, the material instance. So for the material switcher, you need to have, if you want to later on do some other things in the GUI base, maybe you can use these functions that can help you. Then here the actor, you can you can on these you can use like everywhere. Then the item name. Then we have the saved characters. So that's a list of saved characters. It's basically the characters that will be stored on the character itself also, but it will also be saved in a file. So once we are, I think I'm gonna start the recording tonight. I'm gonna first prepare everything so that we don't have that rendering issues and shader compiling issues during recording. I run some quick test yesterday. I found that the material switcher was not completely okay, so I again ripped it apart completely. So that is all part of that major fix we are doing. Okay, then here this is just easy. It returns your location and your rotation of your player. Then adjust the given values of the setup. So if you follow along in my series, you know that once you have created the base character, do not modify, you don't need collapse, this one with this, then we only need to be in the config at this point. So this will be these values, you know, these you modify. The position is not as a set as a variable on here or anything. It's directly in the structure, so you read it from the structure. So that is basically the major update that I did. I embedded my player like in the beginning. If you follow along from the beginning, you know that we had a base class with all the variables on it. We have a temp user. The temp user is loaded from the data tables. But then I need to save it in a way. So what did I do? I created a complete structure that is identically to this. Everything that is inside this one, not this one, but this one, is in the structure. So everything that is needed is in the structure. So I only modify using the structures. Okay, that is coding wise. I think it's wiser to do it like that. If I want to add something later on, I only need to be in my structure, my enum, modify some, not all, some functionalities maybe, and then we're good to go. Then I go up. This one is a converter. So here you can, it's basically all to text, except you can also go from, what was it, from text, if you go reverse from text to this. The idea behind this is when you're working with a GUI interface or widgets, or this is pretty handy that you directly have the information as text, so you don't need to start writing your own conversions. Then this you can use if you work further on your coding or something, and you need to have information from the character creator character, for example. This is one that you can use, and then it will convert it to text. Then this one is a pre-setup one that displays all the information. You see the position, the animation that is set for the horse. If you're using the animation blueprint for the rider on the horse, then you can all have these values directly in a text, so you can make variables, for example, in your widgets. You hook them up to those variables so that your text on your screen is always the correct one, except only this. I did not put any functionality behind this. I could do, maybe, if it's needed, that I directly put when you're using this, that you're going to run that function that is basically this one. Where is it? This one. So you can put this like that, and then you can say like hook it up like that, and then it will return the correct position of your capsule or your player. So that is the function library. Okay, leave it like it is for now. Then I need to be in this. I don't need functionality, so I'm gonna just sweep that up because I don't need that. Maybe like this. Animation. So everything is nice categorized. I need to only look. I think I put it under information. Get character info. Then we drag it in, and then, for example, if you have like a custom function or anything, you can then use this, connect everything, because this is already set up. So this is using, you see, this is using the get character info. So this is a way how you can use that function, and it's very easy to use. Like you see, this is the main. If you need information, that's the guy. That is the guy that holds all your information. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Break, and then what you need, in this case I use my temp character, do the same. Break, you get all the info, you connect it all together, you connect the output pins to your input pins of your variables, and you're good to go. Okay, so delete this, you don't need that anymore. Then is there something else that I can quickly to do? No, that is something to do. GUI, that is again for the GUI. Get character ID, set character ID. That is already functionality I'm preparing for the next update. That will not be in this one. Same for to do, because this is giving me headaches, to be honest, and if it keep on continue giving me headaches, then yeah, then I'm not gonna put it in. It's no use to spend weeks and weeks just to get a rider on your horse. So this is basically that guy. So we have the rider skeleton mesh, but if I use my characters with the hair and everything, the hair is missing on your character. So no, I want to have like also the base CC class, that you then can have that guy that you created as your rider, but that is not included. Okay, then helpers, this is pure coding, eh? Then yeah, the option, the animal. So like you see, I put everything, I try to put everything nice in categories. Same for the macro, you see, and this is also the same. So this, yeah, this don't touch, and this is what you then will be getting in your config. We will drag in our this guy, we're gonna drag it in, I'm gonna put that back. So just put them over here. There's nothing, sorry, there's nothing filled in, and we don't have anything, so this is really the zero project, let me say. So we're going to go to the details panel, we're going to collapse all categories because it's a complete big list. I only need to have the CC1 configuration panel. So the only thing when you start, you have your data table. So step one is migrate. Step two is import all your characters you want to use, all your elements you want to use, import them, load them for one time or so that all the shaders are completed, and then you need to start building the data table. So in this case, make folder data table. So I remove those folders, you go inside, you make your structure, animal or characters, animal, human, and same materials, options, animation blueprint. Make the data tables. Then once you have your data tables created, then you go to the car, you go to data tables, and then I will show you one, then you will just click and you will, but like you see, be careful with your naming that you don't say character options, because that is the main one. You need to always do a underscore DT or better naming conversion, because I think it's maybe easier to not put in data tables like I'm doing now, because then you can really, it's not that you can only do one, you can really go, if you, for example with the animals, you can really go species specific, you know, if you have like deer, I want to have deer that can do this and that, but I want to only have that. So then you create inside your, where are we? We are in the wrong one. Then you just create in your data tables, animal, blah, 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 that name, deer underscore DT or deers underscore DT, come here, deer underscore DT. Okay, save it, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything, just showing, you're not filling in. So that is done. The next step, once you filled it in, the hierarchy in building is very important. First build the characters, then do the options or the materials, and then also in between the NMBP. That is also one. So you really need to do like build the option, build the characters first, base, really pure base. Then if you want to have options, you then set the options, go back to your character that needs the options, and then once you saved everything from the options on that character, then you enable it on your character. Not say like, oh yeah, that character, I'm gonna have options, I'm gonna have, no. First the character, then the options or material or animation blueprint, and then you go back on your character, and then you set is enabled, yes I have, no I don't have. If you do it otherwise, then you will not see the character. Okay, then, so like I say, you just need to then fill in your name, it automatically loads in that character, and then the rest will come. What is in this version? This is, like you already saw, the configuration with a little bit of information when you fill in the character ID. Then the next part is information. you can always, this is pure here, you cannot set anything, it is pure visual. So once you have like a character defined, so it will show you then if it's a human character, animal character, or human separated, so human combined, animal combined, separated human, then you will show you what gender it is, if he has options, if he has materials, can he switch the materials, can he switch the body parts, can he switch the materials. This is then the final character data. If you want to verify, and especially now, if you want to verify, it's a good option to have that if you set something, that you quickly can just go, hey, is this the same name? Is this the same character I got? Are all these values correct? Are they? The ID must always match. So you always know, like, the ID is an important key in all the process. So is this correctly passed through or saved or loaded or whatever? Okay. Then the information. Then we have the body part switcher. So that is basically for the separated characters, or the characters that have long or short hair. Okay, so that can also be for the, depending. As I was doing some crazy tests with the animals, I have animals that come in also separated, but one missing the tail, for example. I only need to have the tail. Yeah, then you can perfectly say, like, I'm gonna make a separated out of it, for example, or I'm gonna just, no, I don't need to have this separated. I can directly put long hair on my base model without having options and everything. Or you can do it really through options also. It's no problem. So I try to think about the most parts. Then to stay with the human, for example, no, it's not needed. So that is the human separated mostly. Then the animal section, again, option switcher. That is then, I provided it, made the manes, the hair and the neck, and the tail. Rider, armor, reins, saddle. So that is the options you got for if you work with animals. Then again, you need to set the rider socket. You can then set the rider animation. If you have a blueprint for that rider, you can then select the blueprint, enable use blueprint, and then child actor, that part is not working. Normally you must say it, no, it's not saying it, so that part is not working. Then show height, again, everything stays invisible. The first time you will load it and have everything configured in the data tables and everything, and you come to the building part basically, then these are all disabled and you can then enable them to show them. Also later on in code you can then on this matter switch between the saddles and everything. Show the rider, I don't want to show the rider. For example, the reins, I have one that has the saddle and the headset, and I have one reins that comes to carry a cart. So then during your code, when you connect your your horse cart or your animal cart, you then perfectly can say, I'm gonna switch the reins from 1 to 2, for example, and disable and not show my saddle, because I don't need the saddle when the horse is connected to a wagon. Then that is for that. Then we have the load and save part. So this will be filled in automatically. Here you can then see what you have stored. Reset will do add to store. You see it's adding it to the store. That is when you do configurations and you want to store those configurations. Normally, hold on a second. Now that I did push the button, voila. So that is what's happening when you add to store. It saves it on the character, but it also saves it in a file on your computer, in your project. Okay, that is working. So normally, if I maybe in the last part forget something to adjust, normally that part was completely working. Then the material switcher, that is a big block, to be honest, because it's not limited, or I didn't build it limited. I built it really like you will see body part. So these are all the body parts that are connected to the character. So you already see the difficulty that you could have if you not pay attention with building the data structures, because if I do main mesh, that in main mesh in the sense of the human combined, it is the mesh itself. That is this guy, the mesh itself. For the separated, this mesh is a head. So if you do material switching and you do it for the head, the mesh must be the correct one. If you take a head from another person and start putting the materials from that other guy on it, the UVs will not be the same, the materials will not be the same, and you will be having a lot of trouble, or not trouble, just terrible looking faces in this point. So, but this is a really big thing in what we're going to test. So that's why I'm gonna try during the day fill in all the data tables that I have, like the basic tests, for example. So I need to think about building an animal, just regular animal, no options, no materials. If I do the animal, it's the same for the combined human, so in that case it doesn't matter. But then we need to have an animal that has all the options, an animal that can switch the materials, and an animal that can switch the materials, that has options and can switch the materials, because the materials can also be switched on the option. So on the option. So this is your character itself, but the moment you see equipment or animal, that is all the options that come for the moment on the character. And I think that is enough, because if you think wise, I don't have a backpack master post, or I don't have a backpack socket based or whatever. Okay, but you have something else that is socket based. You can perfectly use your empty spots to connect your things to your character. I set it up. I cannot build a character that holds like 300 references to I have a blue watch and my friend got a yellow shirt, and no, it's a shirt, and a shirt, if you don't have a shirt, put a jacket in there, it's no problem. So that was the idea also behind it. That's why I'm using socket based and master post elements. So I don't, like I say, so that will be a big thing for testing, a big thing. Did I forgot something? No. So that was the quick go over, really quick go over what is modified. This will also be then the final, this will be the output for the testing, if all goes well. If we now, during testing, find one issue, I go first fix it, because the test version, my side needs to be perfect. If I find my side is perfect, then I will release it to a handful of people, or I will release it as a free asset for a month or something to get responses back from you guys, and then I will see what price I will put on this package, or what is it useful, is it worthwhile, because yeah, if I'm gonna ask money, I need to do the support also. I'm willing to do the support, it's no problem at all. I like testing and building stuff, so this is my real first project I ever gonna sell for the Unreal Engine. So after a few years of studying the code and testing, like I got my writing system, but now this is really something I'm pointing out to, yeah, to share with the community as free version or maybe a paid version. I will see how the development comes, because this, at the moment, if you saw the first video, the really first one, there you see a GUI and so a level, like now the level, and you can play the level and you can then do the same what you do now, right? So then you have the option to go, like for example this guy, create child class, then you can do your settings like you do here, huh? Like you do on here, then you set it here directly, so every time you drag in that guy, then it's that guy you configured already. Then again, if you put it here, then you can then go over here and do your settings, or that ID, the GUI based, or you can press play with old palettes and things and things. You can then modify your character, save, and then again the same situation. So that was it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.